I don't know if you and your husband are like this too, but like I'll have like a really good day where like someone could be crying in front of me and I'm like, I literally can't cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, am I a horrible person? But then, we're like on the opposites all the time, which I feel like is good because if we were both sad at the same time, it would probably be a recipe for disaster.
Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Birth Story podcast. If you are joining for the first time today, I'm your host, Alexa C. Girl mom, angel mama to one of the sweetest boys in heaven, birth trauma and uterine rupture survivor, and former NICU mama. Here you will have the opportunity to ask and have your burning questions answered by professionals, feel connected to other women's experiences as we normalize the different aspects of this journey we are on as moms. The real and raw moments of healing are shared here as we navigate loss, embrace strength, and find hope again while learning to live after loss. Please note the topics discussed on this podcast are for educational purposes only. Please see your personalized medical professional if you have any questions or concerns that arise from listening, including diagnosis and treatment. When I was kind of designing this podcast dream, you were one of the first names I put down, but you were pregnant with now Zoe. And so
Yes.
I'm like, I really want to connect after you've delivered your rainbow baby, if that's what you call her, and be able to hone in on kind of like everything. You have a unique perspective, like myself, of the stillbirth and then a subsequent pregnancy that ended up in a NICU stay. So, not really that storybook that we were kind of both hoping for.
Mhm.
And yeah, I am just so excited. You're an inspiration for myself. You are always so vulnerable of sharing your story, all parts. And I know social media can be very positive, but also very negative. And so my goal for this space today and my space always is that it's so safe that you feel comfortable sharing. I cannot wait to hear about your little girls. And from like a conversation, I obviously see all of your videos and everything, but this is just so much more like, it just, yeah, it's so
Oh,
special to me.
you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm literally blushing. You're so sweet. Um, no, I really appreciate it, and thank you for everything that you do to spread awareness, and it's so important, and it's not talked about enough, and, having, like, a separate space that's, like, not TikTok to share this, I feel like is so important. Um, so you are an inspiration too.
Thank you. I know I was talking to a girlfriend the other day because TikTok was kind of my first spot that I got very vulnerable. And I actually went back and was looking at a highlight the other day of things I shared in the beginning. And I don't even remember posting it. And this was on
Mhm.
Instagram. And I never shared like the really black and white, hard, deep times. And I feel like for myself, I always imagined that Instagram was this, you only shared the good parts. And I never wanted to show up sadly on people's feeds.
Mhm.
Whereas TikTok is more of like your everyday, you can share the hard. And I'm like, why should I filter my real hard life for the comfortability of others,
Exactly.
And so, yeah, just having another platform, I thrive and I heal and I process by conversations. And nobody loves harder and understands more than this community that we are unfortunately a part of.
Mhm.
And so to be kind of not a leading voice, but we're making a path for other women and moms to hopefully feel comfortable to share their baby stories and their journeys.
Mhm.
So, without further ado, I'm going to give you the floor and just kind of tell us like who Tiffany is, a little bit about you and your story, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Sure. Yeah, so my name's Tiffany. I live in upstate New York. I run a farm animal sanctuary with my husband Joe, and I have two daughters. One, Bella, she's my firstborn. She passed away a year and a half ago during labor, and then I just recently welcomed our second daughter Zoe into the world 3 months ago. And yeah, it's been a journey to say the least. It's been every day is a wild ride, but I am so blessed and grateful to be where I am today.
Isn't that the truth? A wild ride. I always say it's like a roller coaster that I never bought a ticket for.
I'm like, "I didn't want this, okay?"
No. Yet here we are. New York, that's so crazy. This is just like so fun for me to be able to connect with people from all over the world. And that definitely stemmed from that initial platform of TikTok. And it's special to connect with people around me too, but just learning about, other people's journeys and things like that, and very differently as well, our journeys is in Canada, that's where I am.
Mm.
We have like the universal free healthcare and that kind of thing. And so I was watching like Cora's story
Mhm.
today, or maybe it was yesterday, talking about, the affordability of being able to go into triage and things like that
Mhm.
towards the end to really try and relax some of that anxiety and stuff. And I'm always reflecting on, you know, like the care and the quality and the difference of you guys versus us up here.
Yeah.
And it's something that's so heavy on my heart, and the fact that care, and especially when it comes to us lost moms, our brains and our hearts are all over the place. There's that son I was talking about. Especially towards the end, or towards a similar time of when maybe we lost our babies, and to not be able to have every single resource we need to give us, the best chance at hopefully being able to relax, even if it's a little bit. And
Yes.
so that's another piece that's been very interesting to me.
Yes,
In
I, like, totally forgot about that with
Yeah,
'cause we just
it's
got, like, another bill in the mail from when we lost Bella, and I'm like, "What?" Like,
oh
the
my
bills just keep
god.
piling in, and like you said, it's like us in particular, like, we need the extra care. I mean, all women do, but, like, our anxieties are so awful because 'cause we're just so scared because we know of, the worst thing that could happen, and to not be able to get that care because of how expensive it is, it's really sad.
It really is. I think too, I'm just like, when you lose a baby, have a stillbirth, I'm like, why do these bills exist? Like, they
Literally.
should just automatically be like, you've been through enough. And obviously, the government doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
as we all know. And it just breaks my heart. I'm like, I couldn't imagine having, all these bills, and you have enough reminders day to day, let
Mhm.
alone these very heavy ones,
Yeah.
obviously, anything financially these days with this world. Um, so I wanted to touch on that too before I forgot, because that's always a big,
Yes.
buffer and difference between, the different countries and whatnot. So going back to the beginning, was your pregnancy with Bella, like, did you have any, like, high risk? Did you have any indications that maybe you would have a devastating outcome, or what did that kinda look like?
Yeah, so, my pregnancy was amazing with Bella. I had no complications, nothing. I was low risk for everything. That's why I was a candidate to have a home birth, which is what my plan was. So, I went to the traditional OB in the beginning, and I just felt so like confident in my body, which, like, looking back now, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm like talking to a totally different person. But I felt so confident in my body. Everything was working out great. All the scans were perfect. Every visit was great. I felt amazing. I did farm chores up to the day I literally went into labor. Like, I felt amazing. Like, it was crazy the amount of stuff I did and then the difference with my
Yeah.
pregnancy with Zoe. But um, I had no indication that something bad was gonna happen until I think the end. I think I was starting to get really nervous, and I remember telling my midwife, like, I just feel like I'm not gonna meet Bella. Like, I just feel like I have this like really bad feeling, like a pit in my stomach. I remember every night when I went to bed at like 38 weeks pregnant, I had like a recurring dream that one of our pigs died the day that I gave birth to Bella. And I was like, I just like know someone's gonna die when Bella is born. And I had no idea that it was gonna be Bella. And I remember telling that to my midwife, and after the fact, she was like, I wish like I went into I wish I listened to you better and all of that. And I'm like, it's not your fault. Like, I feel like it's also hard because it's like, what is anxiety? What is, you're a first time mom. You don't know what is to be expected. So you start to second guess yourself and think that it's like these normal emotions. But I feel like deep down I kind of knew something bad was gonna happen. Um, but yeah, no complications. Everything was great. I always say that like my best time with Bella was obviously when I was pregnant with her. And I'm glad that she gave me that because that was the best time of my life.
Mm. I wanna touch on that too. I we lost in our second pregnancy. And so not even just being a first-time mom, but those
Mhm.
anxieties that can come with subsequent pregnancies, and I had those dreams too. I had a gut feeling, and I always come back to that mother's intuition, even with my living children. Like,
Wow.
you
Mhm.
know? And so I'm totally the type of person, I will sit my notes app on my phone is just random thoughts, preparing to speak about things and whatnot. And I always wanted to just perfect my baby's birth announcement. And I would type it out and I was VBACing. And so it was like born by successful VBAC. And I'm like, nope, I can erase that. We're not going to need that. And then I would try again. I'm like, "No, we're not gonna need it." And I'm like, "Why did I do that?"
Mm.
And I would too have dreams, but mine would be specifically that he wasn't coming home, and I chalked it up to that anxiety. I'm
Wow.
like, "You're just nervous, like you're trying something new."
Mhm.
And I always say if that dream would have told me exactly why or exactly what was going to happen, I would have controlled the outcome and did something so differently.
Wow.
And I did not know that that was a piece of your story too. I've actually never heard of anyone else speak about that.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of blame for myself in that aspect of like,
Me
why
too.
didn't I listen to it?
Mhm.
Like your body was and your heart and your mind were trying to tell you something. But like you said, you never thought it was going to be her. You
No,
never
I
thought it was going to
never
be us.
no, you never think that, like,
No.
I never even knew anyone that really had a stillbirth, like, there was someone in my family that lost a baby, but after they were born, but I just never thought that, like, stillbirth was something that I would experience.
Yeah.
It's just and Cade so is Cade your 2nd child?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, so Jayla was my first in 2019, C-section due to unreliable heart rate,
Wow.
and then I had Cade, and then most recently Case. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, so he was our 2nd, and I had a very controlled environment with my first, and I think when you choose a team, you just believe that they're gonna be able to carry out what they have told you they would carry out. And
Mhm.
regardless of if you get that like our goal was a VBAC, but regardless if we ended up in a C-section or a VBAC, it didn't really matter. It
Mhm.
didn't matter at all, actually. And the fact that a call was never made
Mm.
is yeah, one of the most frustrating things for us. And again, we always come back to that self blame and the blame of like being the parent and why did we not save him? And ultimately, that wasn't our job.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'll get into that another time, but
I
I want to
know,
hear about you.
I'm sorry.
I just like, I love
Talk
talking
to her on
about
the
it.
phone at some point.
Oh my God, for real. Like, this can't be our only time.
Oh my god, there's so much to talk about.
Okay, so home birth with Bella. Okay, you go on your story. Tell me everything.
Yeah, so, I was planning a home birth with Bella. I, like, had this whole dream. I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give birth to her, like, on the farm, in my living room. It's gonna be, like, a magical birth." I literally just read all the happy home birth, like, books, like, my entire pregnancy with Bella. Like, I did not listen to anyone that wanted to tell me any negative stories, anything, which I feel like no pregnant person wants to listen to any negative stories anyways. But I just, like, really talked myself into thinking that, "All right, my body is made for this. My body will do this. Like, this is what my body was made for." And I really believed that, which
Mhm,
for some people, that is true, and, that's amazing, but for me, that wasn't the case. So I went into labor, I think I was 39 weeks and 5 days pregnant? Yeah. Like, in the morning, like, little contractions, and again, I thought I was like, "You know what? I got this, like, I'm not even gonna call my midwife yet, like, I can do this." Like, I felt so confident in myself. My husband and I, we went on a walk with all the animals. I was, like, having contractions. We were so excited. We had, like, the birth pool, like, almost set up. We had everything, all the tools, everything we needed. I called my mom and dad because my mom and dad live in Connecticut, so they live, like, 3.5 hours away. And I wanted my mom to be there for the birth. So she was like on her way up. I called my midwife. She came over because, my contractions were getting closer. She like checked me. I was like 2 centimeters. So, I was expecting it to take a long time, but I felt like I was safe and I felt like everything was going to be okay. And then, things started progressing. I definitely, you've been in labor. It's not fun,
Mhm.
obviously. We're still home, but I was like, I still felt like I could do it. I was like, we're home, and I was like squeezing a comb. Like I thought I could do this.
Yeah.
Um, and then, my midwife checked me again. I was like 4 centimeters, and then I got really sick. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is probably my dream birth. Like I'm totally going into transition. Like I'm gonna quickly jump to 10 and have this baby. Like I felt so confident in it. And then she was checking Bella's heart rate again. And for a home birth, they only check with Dopplers sporadically, which I didn't really understand, that Dopplers, you really cannot depend on them because
Mhm.
Bella's heart rate was fine 1 second. And then the next second, we couldn't find it. So my midwife was like, you know what? It's my Doppler. I think it's staticky. Oh, I should have brought the other one. So we were like kind of mad at my midwife and we were like, oh my gosh, like, why couldn't you bring the better Doppler? Like, this is crazy. And we were like, what do we do? Like, she was looking for like 30 minutes. And we all started to like kind of panic a little bit, but I like wasn't really panicking because my whole thing was like, all right, we're going to go to the hospital. I'm not going to want to come back home. I'm going to get an epidural. I'm probably going to have
Yeah.
a C-section. Like, and it's going to be like not the birth I wanted. We get to the hospital and Bella was gone. And it was horrible. Like, and I feel like when you're in that like initial shock and like I'm still in pain, like I'm still in labor at this point, like I couldn't even register what had happened.
Yeah.
So my initial thought was like, all right, you need to like put me out completely and like give me a C-section, take her out, and I don't want to see her. And for some reason I was so afraid to see her. Like I thought she would look really scary. Like I didn't want to see my daughter not alive. Like I was so afraid to see her for some reason, which I feel like is normal. But yeah, they, gave me Pitocin, gave me that epidural, everything. I was like, give me whatever. Like
Yeah. Get
this
this over with.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
do not care. So I gave birth the next morning at 3:15 in the morning and Bella was born and it's so crushing. It's, no one should ever have to give birth to their baby that's not screaming or not alive or breathing. And I I just wanted to like run away from everything. She was born at 3:15 and I remember at like 5 in the morning I was like, all right, can we leave? Like, and I just like I didn't understand what was going on. I was like still so confused. And the nurses was like, someone's gonna come in at 6 and then you could probably leave. And I was like, oh, okay, like then I can come home and like feed the pigs. Like I kept like distracting myself and
Yeah.
like pretending like I had to do something else because I just wanted to avoid everything that I just went through. And the doctors came in, she was like, you're not leaving anytime soon. Like you just gave birth. Like, why don't you try to stay with your baby? And I'm glad that they kind of not like forced it, but kind of like made me stay. Like they literally would not discharge me because I feel like I probably would have went left and I would have regretted it
Yeah.
forever. So we spent the day with Bella and we napped with her and we read her books. I mean, there's so many things that like looking back, I wish I did with her. I just didn't think to do that. Like I wish I got to put her like in a cute outfit or all the outfits that I bought her, or like brush her hair. Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
No,
cry.
you're allowed. You would not be the first nor the last.
Um, yeah, we went home that night and everyone was just like really quiet and worried about me. I remember I took a bath and my mom and sister like did not let me be alone. They like kept
Mm,
like checking on me and I'm like, guys, I'm fine. Like I just want to be by myself. And everyone was so worried about me for a long time, you know?
understandably. Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing ever. And seeing our families just like so broken. My in-laws and my mom and dad were in the hospital and they were just like screaming, crying. I thought my mom was gonna like faint. And it's like, it's not just like you that is going through this. It's like everyone is hurt by this. And there's, like, this mentality that, like, you don't want them to feel that pain, so, like, you try to feel, like, normal around them, but then deep down you're struggling. It's just, like, a mess.
Yeah, and it's so hard to make sense of it all. And like you said, a normal response, I don't even think there is one. I have talked to so many moms and like I kept Kate on my chest for as long as I possibly could. They basically forced me to take him to the funeral home because he started to like drain fluid out of his nose. And they were like, it's time, like,
Oh,
you know? And so, but then I talked to another girlfriend that, yeah, she never seen her.
wow.
And it's like your body is just reacting however you aren't controlling it. It
Mhm.
was so, looking back, I don't even know how I made the choices I did. In that moment, there were no other choices I could possibly make. There were no other options. It was just my body was going through these motions. And no matter how many hours we got with him, it was never enough. There's always things that I wish we could have done. And yeah, seeing my family, that it was specifically for me, my dad. Like,
Yeah,
I had only seen my dad cry, I think maybe twice in my life, and to see him absolutely break when I was like, "Would you like to hold him?" He was like, "I didn't think you'd give him up." I'm like, "Well, I'm only giving him up for like a minute, so make your minute count.
oh.
However, you may hold him for a minute." And just, hearing our daughters cry when she came into the room, and it was just, yeah, you try and you're going through everything too, and then trying to almost make everyone else comfortable, and
Mhm.
they're trying to be comfortable around you. And it's not until way after that we actually had the conversations of people's reactions and their feelings. And like, we had so many people at our house when I came home from the hospital, and they were like, we literally had to hide because we couldn't stop crying. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I didn't even know," like, I just floated through my house, found my rocking chair, and just, like, sat down, and I'm like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, I felt like I was, like, in a different planet and, like, I was, like, alone. Like, it was such a weird feeling, like, I just remember, like, walking around, like, in pajamas around the farm, like, all day, just, like, staring off into space like a
Yeah.
zombie of a person.
I was totally a shell of myself, like, I was there, but I wasn't there. Like,
Yes,
my
that's what
body might have been. Yes.
yeah.
It's the strangest thing, and I remember, yeah, when they said, like, he was gone, I'm just like, "What do you mean? What do you mean he's gone? He's right here." Like, he's gonna start breathing, he's gonna start crying, like,
Mhm.
I just need to warm him back up. And I'm like, "Well, let's just go back an hour and or 4 hours now that I know the details, and, like, let's just make a different choice." Like, he can't just be gone.
I know.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, they were just here.
It's so unfair. It's like, I don't know why like, I don't think there's any reason why this stuff happens. It's like, you try to come up with reasons. Like, I remember I did that in the beginning. I was like, "Maybe this happened because of this." And I'm like, "No, like, there's no reason why this should have happened to us." Like,
No.
there's no
No.
reason.
It still doesn't make sense to me. Like,
No.
even when I hear of, in the last little bit, I've had a couple people that have lost a baby and things like that. I'm just like, like, why? Like,
Why?
you
Mhm,
think, okay, your grandparents pass away.
mhm,
It's expected. It's a circle of life. And to try and make sense of like a life that hadn't even entered the world yet
mhm.
was taken away, like, there is no reason.
No.
No matter how much people try to tell us everything happens for a reason, or
Oh my god, I
we
hate that.
search for a reason, an answer to the why, it's like it's never gonna come.
Yeah, and I feel like in the beginning, like, first couple of months, people kept trying to tell me, like, "Everything happens for a reason," like, "Maybe she would have had brain damage." Like, I've literally had people say, like, the craziest stuff to me, and I'm like in the beginning, I was like, maybe they're right." Like, I don't know, but then it's like, you get out of that, like, daze and that fog, and you're like, "No, that actually makes no sense," and
Yeah,
I would have loved my daughter no matter what if she had brain damage or anything, like, it wouldn't matter to me as long as she was alive and on earth with us, like,
yeah.
you know?
And too, with things like that, it's like they can see that kind of stuff on an ultrasound. Like, these babies were
Yes.
perfect.
Perfect.
Like, not a single thing.
It's
It,
insane.
yeah, makes 0 sense. Did you guys ever, find out what caused her passing?
Yeah, so when she was born, they immediately were like, "Oh my gosh, I know exactly what happened." Her cord was, like, hyper coiled, and it was missing a piece of Wharton's jelly, which is the protective coating around the cord to, like, protect it from cutting off, the blood supply.
Mhm.
But she was missing a chunk of that, which is, like, super rare and crazy. So they said during contractions, she was obviously in distress, and as she was, like, moving down, it was just getting tighter and tighter, which I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like, and then I always go crazy and I'm like, "Ugh, I wish, like, I was a normal person and didn't wanna have this home birth experience and just
Yeah.
went to the hospital because Bella would probably be here, and I would have obviously had a C-section." So I always think, like, if Bella lived, like, I would have had a C-section. I would have had a C-section with Zoe, and that probably it's like, but you can't think like that, and
Yeah.
it's awful.
It's all those what ifs too, right? And I
Yes.
think in like a hospital setting, you're generally really only connected to like continuous monitoring if you have high risk or if you've,
True.
had a loss and things like that. And so it's like, was there a guarantee that you would have,
I
it's so hard.
I know, and I remember asking the doctors that, like, the next morning, I was like, "If I didn't have try to have a home birth, like, what would happen?" And she was like, "Honestly, like, if you came in that earlier and you were, 3, 4 centimeters dilated, like, we probably would have sent you home. We probably would have made you, like, walk around the block," you know? So I'm like, I guess, like, I don't it's
Yeah.
hard.
It's human nature though to ask the why
Yeah,
questions and to have
totally.
answers and when you have a situation where you will absolutely never have an answer, and something I personally hold on to very closely because I know a couple moms who don't know why their
Mhm,
babies passed is that we have a reason. We
mhm,
were told, okay, it was a uterine rupture. Had it been controlled and monitored properly, yeah, he would be here.
mhm,
You don't just automatically die from a uterine rupture. However, it's like we have kind of that reason that I can hold on to and be like, okay, this is what took his life. I will
mhm,
never know why. And like you said, you were such a small percentage of people that this would ever happen to with your cord. So
mhm,
it's like, well, why am I that small percentage?
mhm.
And with uterine rupture, it's a 0.07%, less than 1% of the population. And majority of those people, they're just automatically C-sectioned and the babies are here.
Wow.
And then to hear that and then be like, "Well, why couldn't I have been that small percentage that they caught it sectioned and he's here?"
Mhm.
Like, it just
Is that something that they catch, like, in labor? Like, they could tell that it's about to happen?
they can tell when it happens. Unfortunately, I was just
Oh.
very poorly managed
Oh my gosh.
and laid there for over 4 hours, and you have about, you know, a 30-minute max window, and your babies like, my one girlfriend, her it wasn't a uterine rupture, but she had a true knot. It was cut off 17 minutes. That baby was without oxygen and severe brain damage, was born. And so it's like your window, like the minutes start ticking the moment it happens.
Wow.
And I just remember thinking too, I'm like, was he in pain when he passed? Because in my brain, if I was suffocating, that is horrific.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
it's like, is it the same in utero? Like, did he I don't know. And
Mhm.
so I carry all that with me too, right? I'm like, did you struggle? I felt the last struggle kick. And
Wow.
it's like when babies are in distress, but like how much do they know? And so that really messes with my mind too, because
Yes.
it's your maternal instinct too. You never want your children in pain. And I'm
No.
sure you can say the same for Zoe now. It's like the moment she cries, you're like, okay, what's wrong?
And
Like
just
I
run.
need I need to like take whatever it is away. And so it's like it's not just the loss, it's all of these it's a snowball effect.
Yep.
Dominoes on dominoes for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And like all those firsts, all those seconds, and it's like it's not just the first year you're supposed to have firsts with your kids.
Mhm.
I remember when we were going to get married and it was like I'm never going to get the mother-son dance. And that's going to be like years and years down the road if Kate ever decided to get married.
Yeah.
It's like you're always turning those
Mhm.
like gears.
Always.
When did you know that you were, in quotations, ready to try again?
I think I was ready immediately. Honestly, I told my husband, I'm like, I need to take care of someone else, and I'm not going to take very good care of myself unless I have a baby. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe that's not the healthiest thing to admit, but um
I was the same way. I was desperado.
I was like, immediately. He was like, "No, I think we should wait a little bit." I'm like, "No, you don't understand." Like,
No.
I know how time goes, and, like, I feel like I was pregnant forever, almost 40 weeks, so I'm like, I almost wanted to, like, get it over with again, which is not a great thing, but, I also, like, you already feel so behind, like, this is my first kid, like, all my in-laws, like, they're all, my sister-in-laws and stuff, they're all, like, having children and stuff, and I just felt so behind. So I was like, I just wanna, like, catch back up in a way, and I also just I needed it, I feel
Mhm.
like you just know when you're ready, like, some people I have girlfriends that, like, aren't ready for a year and some, never, but I definitely was, like, immediately. So we started trying at, like, 3 months, and it took us, like, 5 months to or, like, at the 5-month mark to conceive Zoe.
Mhm. And, like, it is such a short window, but I feel like in that moment, did it feel like it was taking an eternity to get pregnant
Yes.
again? Okay.
I know, 'cause I
Me
think
too.
about it now, I'm like, Zoe's 3 months old, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we were trying at when Zoe was 3 months," which I'm like I look at Zoe and I'm like, "I could see it because she's so cute."
Right? It's so hard not to.
But, like, gosh, time goes by so fast now, but then when you're grieving, it's like, "Oh my gosh, every day is such an eternity." It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I remember just sitting there and thinking about, like, all the things that I should be doing, and,
Mhm.
like, the sun would come out in the morning, and it would go down at night, and it was just like a revolving door of, like, just sitting there, and time was passing around me, and I was kinda just, like, sitting there, and the first week making all of the decisions about the funeral, and the this, and the
Mhm.
that, and what should be happening. I'm like, "I don't know, I should be changing diapers, not picking out urns, and picking out this and that," and, like, enough with questions.
Oh my
Like,
god, the amount of questions and, like, things you had to answer, I was like, "I literally cannot make these decisions right now." Like, I
no,
don't wanna do this.
no. It was I would get so angry. So I'm like,
Mhm,
"What do you mean, what color of this do I want and this and that?" And I'm like, I don't want it any of it,
mhm,
but I needed it,
mhm,
obviously. I wanted the celebration of life and everything, that's why we did it. But, yeah, even when they kept asking, like, "When can we come get him from the hospital?" I'm like, "You're
mhm.
not like, it's my baby, he's just gonna come out." Like, it
I
was
know, and
my
I'm like,
brain
"Have
just
I taken her home?" Like, I think about that all the time.
I would've 100%.
And I didn't think to ask until, like, the next day because they only let us have a day with her, which
Mm.
they never get I don't know if you had, like, a cuddle cot or anything.
No, our hospital didn't have one, and I wanna get it one just in case someone
Same.
else
I'm
needs
like,
one.
"Listen, that definitely is a necessity, guys." Like,
Yes.
I cannot believe and I called actually I found out what a cuddle cot was, like, a month later, and I called my hospital, and they were like, "Yeah, we had one, but it's, like, broken." I'm like, "You
Unacceptable.
joking? Like, what?" First of all, how does that break? Like, come on.
And, like, we need to be fixing it.
Yeah, like, that seems very important, like, come on, like yeah, I mean, because I feel like if I had one night of, like, rest, I
Mhm.
feel like I could've, like, gathered my thoughts a little bit. Because I feel like the next morning I was like, "Oh my gosh." We had to go back to the funeral home, and I almost asked, which I'm kinda glad I didn't, I almost asked, like, "Can I see Bella before you put her in the to cremate her?" Like, I
Mhm.
almost asked, and I'm like, I'm kinda glad I didn't because I probably would not wanna see her don't even know what she's probably in a bag or something horrible, like, I did not wanna see that, but
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't get enough closure because I feel like I was not well rested, I was still in shock, but the next day I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, this really happened to me, like, I need to see her again," you
Yeah.
know?
I think about that too. I've seen a few people's stories that the funeral home did let them go hang out with them, and
Wow,
they would go every day leading up to the funeral. Like, I didn't even know that was an option.
me neither.
And again, would that have been the best thing for me? However, I was in such shock and everything on the day we had a celebration of life, and he was immediately taken to the funeral home and cremated after that. And I'm just like, now I think if I got to have a day with him or whatever, I'd actually be able to soak everything in.
Yes.
Whereas now that I'm like more clear-minded and that kind of thing, whereas in that moment, I was not clear-minded at all. I was in such shock. I was in denial. I was all of the things that did not allow me to really, really soak it in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I feel like nothing will ever be enough for us because we wanted a
Yeah.
lifetime with our babies. But I think about that all the time. I'm like, how come I couldn't take her home and spend a day with her and
Yeah.
then bring her to the funeral home myself? Like, she's my baby. Like, you would think I would
Mhm.
be allowed to do that. I guess, like, the options were never really there in the hospital either. Like, they never really told us, like, this is what you can do. And it might
Mhm.
sound crazy. And it might sound like that sounds like a good idea for you. Like,
Yeah.
unless I was in such a daze that I wouldn't remember. I don't know. It's like,
I feel
but
like you'd
I remember
remember.
the day so well, you know?
Yes. And yeah, there needs to be more options. That was like something that's really set with me is the lack of like follow-up and options and things like that. I've seen with the cuddle cot that people, yeah, do take that baby home overnight and they're in the cuddle cot. And I also think back to myself, I'm like, but would I have taken him to the funeral home? Like, I think someone would have
Yes.
had to come remove him from my home.
Mhm.
I'd be like, no. And it's
Like,
such
could I have
like,
taken her to the grocery store with me? Like,
yeah, I've been like, this is my baby. Like,
missing
he,
jingles. It's
he
like,
was. People be like, this check is insane. But it's like, it's my baby. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Now thinking back, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. But like
it's so
in
fucked
the
up.
moment, I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be my life.
Lit
I'd be that girl.
Literally, you would find me locked up somewhere. It would be fine.
They would have to admit me
Yeah.
into a facility.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm. Same.
Um, did you have like a lot of anxiety the entire pregnancy with Zoe, or was it more so towards the end and when you got closer to like delivering, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, my entire pregnancy I had a lot of anxiety. I definitely feel so more towards the end, because obviously my loss happened at the end. That's when my anxiety really kicked in. I feel like the beginning, I don't know, I just tried to like make every day pass because I just wanted to go by, which I feel really guilty and bad that I didn't enjoy her pregnancy as much as I like enjoyed Bella's pregnancy. But I think that that's just how I spent my time with my girls. I get to spend my time with Zoe on Earth, and Bella, I really soaked it in when I was pregnant with her. But yeah, definitely towards the end, I went to labor and delivery like probably every single Friday after like 23, 24 weeks on.
Yeah.
Those were hefty.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was like, I don't care. I need to go. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? And you need those, like, just that reassurance piece
Mhm.
and checking in. Did you have like an at-home Doppler with that pregnancy with Zoe?
I I bought one immediately and I used it maybe once and then I was like, I need to throw this away because
Mm-hmm.
I started to try to use it in the beginning at like 12, 13 weeks and like could kind of find the heart rate, not really. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I feel like it sort of was triggering because I just brought me back to when my midwife couldn't find Bella's heart rate with the Doppler. And every time I used my Doppler, it was like staticky. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. So my doctors were actually super sweet and let me come in every single week, like in the early days, just to get like a Doppler check. And I was like, thank God, because I can't do this myself.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
you need to hear it. It's
but I
like a
need to hear
catch
it.
22, right?
Yeah. And then I
I
was like
know.
good for like a day. And then the next day I was like, not good.
You're like, can I hear it again though? I'm like, I don't care if I can feel you kicking or anything. I just like I need
I
some
need to.
external reassurance, right? Um, how was that moment like when you delivered Zoe? Like I have been so excited to ask you this question and like what was that like?
I think we were terrified. um, I went into it thinking like everything's gonna be fine. Like we're at the hospital, like they know what they're doing. And honestly, they did. And I felt so much safer than when I was in labor with Bella. Um, I kept telling all the doctors and nurses, I was like, look, I lost a baby before. Please, I don't care what you need to do. I cannot lose this baby. They probably thought I was crazy, but I like drilled it into their brains
Mm-hmm.
and they were so sweet about it. I had like one scary, I mean, a lot of it was scary, but I got the epidural, and when I did, the nurse was also trying to like keep the heart rate monitor on Zoe, but she was like getting really low. And when he was giving me the epidural, I had to like obviously be hunched over, and she still had like a hard time keeping track of the heart rate. And I like kept looking at the screen, and like it would just like there would be nothing. And I'm like, all right, she probably just like moved. I'm gonna just chill out because I also can't freak out because this guy's putting a giant needle in my back.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, I have to kind of remain calm here. He gave me the epidural, and then she checked the heart rate again, couldn't find it. And I was like, oh my gosh, my baby's gone again. And they had to bring in the ultrasound tech. And I'm like, I have lived this. I'm like, this cannot happen. And the ultrasound tech took a solid, I mean, it felt like an hour. It felt so long. It was probably like 30 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. And she was definitely a little bit crabby to me. She was like, you need to calm down, because I was like hysterical. I was like freaking out.
Understandably.
I need to calm down because I'm having trouble finding her heart rate, not because it's not there, but
You're like,
because
that's exactly what I'm thinking about.
I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, do you see it or not? I'm like, for the love of God. And then she finally found it, and I was like, oh my God, I can breathe. And then I delivered her like maybe an hour later, and she came out, and I knew something was wrong. They told me to stop pushing for a second when her head was out. And I was like, okay. Like, I literally was like, I will do whatever you guys tell me to do. I thought they were going to give me an episiotomy because they just grabbed these like big scissors. And I'm like, oh my God, please, God, no. I tore so much with Bella that like my one goal was like, I just don't want to tear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the worst. I mean, it's awful. But I was like, whatever, cut me, I guess, if that's what you got to do. And I asked, I was like, are you cutting me? And she was like, no, like your baby's nuchal cord is just wrapped around her neck really tight, and it seems to be getting tighter as you push. So we're just going to cut it. It happens really quick. And they totally kept me calm, which I really appreciate. Like, they all were like, everything's fine. Like, no big deal. And meanwhile, they like called the NICU team in, and there's like 30 people in here. I'm like, everything is not fine. I'm like, but thank you guys for keeping me so mellow, I guess.
Yes.
So they had to cut the cord, and she came out, and she was not crying. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, like, why can't I have the moment that like everyone gets, that it seems like, you know, like, how come my baby's not crying and being thrown on my chest? But they like gave me to her, and I gave her to me, and I was like, guys, I feel like I shouldn't be holding her. Like, I think you guys need to take her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't have like that initial moment where I was like, yay, my baby. I was like, please take her and like make sure she's okay. Like, I don't need this moment right now. Like, I'd rather her be okay. They took her, they like had to resuscitate her, and they like grabbed my husband over there, and I thought they were telling my husband that she died. Like, in my brain, I was like, she's gone. Like, there's no way she's gonna live. And then we heard like a couple like little squeaks, and I was like, thank God. She made a couple sounds, and then they brought her over to me, and they like took the I guess it was like a CPAP machine on her, and they like gave her to me, and I was like, why are they giving her to me? Like, bring her down to the NICU. Like, and they kept being like, take some photos with her. And I'm like, why? Is she gonna die? I'm like, why you want me to take photos with her? Like, I thought they were trying to like make it like a happy, memorable moment, because I thought she was not gonna live. I was so traumatized, but they brought her down to the NICU, and she did great. She was only there for 2 days, but I was like, oh my gosh, I was just a wreck. And my husband's like, we are never doing this again. I'm like, and he was like, no, next time we're having a C-section. It's just, we're not doing this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is too much. Like, but I'm just so glad she's okay. And then it's like, everything got better. And honestly, like, I told my husband, I'm like, it wasn't that traumatic. And he was like, that was pretty traumatic. I'm like, I compare it to the loss of Bella. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and I told him, like, I wonder if Bella survived and everything was great, and then I had this traumatic experience with Zoe. I wonder if that would be like my trauma and like what I would be talking about. But like, now I don't even think about it, because to me, like, she's alive and she's here, so it doesn't matter, you know?
And I think subconsciously too, whether or not you realize you do it, is like these walls that you put up going into this delivery. And I was always like, if we bring this baby home, if this baby lives, it was never like, okay, when? It was never a guarantee, because now I know that it's not. And so I didn't even like process the delivery. I was just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And we had NICU too, like, he was immediately taking, so he was only 28 weeks, but,
Mhm.
um and then I just, like, laid in the postpartum unit again by myself. I was like, okay,
Jeez.
so what are we doing?"
Mhm.
And then I was so sick after that delivery. I think it was, like, the spinal this time really just did not agree with me. And then they wouldn't let me out of bed, they wouldn't let me go up, and finally, like, I delivered him at 1 a.m., it was noon the next day, and I was either FaceTiming him because my husband was free to go back and forth, or I was looking at him on the baby monitor, and I'm like, "This is so messed up." I'm like, "I'm going to meet my baby." I'm
Mhm.
like, told my husband, I'm like, "I'm getting my own self out of bed. I'm going like, get me a wheelchair." He's like, "For real? Like, I'm a little nervous right now." I'm like, "No, this is not okay." And then he was like, yeah, my recovery was, like, okay this time compared to my last 2 C-sections, and then he's just like, "Oh, yeah, like, if we decide to do it again, like, you did so good, you're healing so fast this time, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "Um, I just, like, had no choice because my baby's on a different floor of the hospital. I
Why do they
had
do
to get
that?
up." I'm like, I whether or not it took me 30 minutes to, like, shuffle my way down that hallway, I was going. And I'm
Determined.
like, a classic man being like, "Oh, that was nothing this time." I'm like, "Really? Okay.
Really? No,
Alright."
it was tough, okay.
By whose standard here are
Yeah.
we comparing, okay? Whose experience?
Oh my gosh. So this was your oldest at
No,
No.
that was, like, my youngest, so this was after
Oh,
Cade. Yeah.
got it, okay.
Yeah. So then same thing, like, not picture perfect delivery like I was hoping for. I was like, "No, we're gonna make it to 36 weeks, and we're just gonna automatically section, and everything's gonna be good." And then my water breaks at 27 weeks.
Oh
And
my
it was like
goodness.
same thing, I was so hysterical going into that delivery. Everybody that came into my room, like, "This baby just has to be okay. Like, there's no other option. Do what you have to do. Like, I don't care." I've never had so many, like well, I've had so many needles with, like, my stillbirth and things like that, but during that, like, my pregnancy, it was, like, all these antibiotics, all these needles. I was then, gestational diabetes, and it was just, like, everything was piling on top, and I'm like, I so badly needed to go out with, like, the picture perfect delivery,
Mhm,
and again, yeah, great, he's here, that's amazing, but I needed, like, that healing
mhm,
portion of, like, it truly was just planned. I blissfully walked into the hospital. I blissfully got to go home 48 hours later,
mhm.
and it's just that wasn't the case. It was and that's hard to, like, process too within it all,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm constantly comparing the 2
Mhm,
and trying to make up maybe for what we went through,
mhm.
um, and that's been, like, a battle of mine as well.
Yeah. It's so tough. It's so tough when, like, you picture it in your brain going, like, a perfect way, and you think that you're so deserving of it, you know? But it's so out of your control. It's, like, the craziest thing ever. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I do. I feel like so much more for lost moms of like, you deserve this baby like
Mhm.
so, so, so much. And then if I hear of like someone who's had the perfect pregnancies, perfect deliveries, and they're expecting it, I'm like, oh yeah, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Like happy for you. And then
Mhm.
with a lost mom, I'm just like, oh,
Literally. I'm like, "Yes."
like
Literally, I
you
know.
deserve this. And like even with any of my friends leading up to their deliveries and things like that, I'm just, like, so anxious, and I don't even realize it until after the
Mhm.
baby's born and I can take a big breath, and I'm like,
Yes.
"Oh, I didn't actually even realize I was holding my breath."
Mhm. Yes.
But it's so scary.
So scary.
You like, I just before I had babies and like you spoke about with Bella's pregnancy that your body was gonna do what it was gonna do,
Mhm.
and I just assumed once you get past that 12 weeks that
Mhm.
that's just you get your baby at the end,
Yep.
and now that that's not the case, it's hard to just, like, hold on to that baby's gonna be okay, you're just gonna deliver. I
Mhm.
will never sit there and be like, "Don't feel anxious, like, it's gonna be all good."
Mhm.
Obviously, I want you to sit in blissful moments when you can, but also give so much space to the anxiety and the worries and the I think that's going to help protect you going into your subsequent deliveries.
I agree. Like,
You
I
know?
definitely think that if I did not deliver Zoe when I did, I'm like, I have a bit I'm like, maybe something bad would have happened again, like, clearly there was another cord issue going on, like, was her cord always wrapped around her neck? And then, was it just gonna get tighter and tighter, and was something awful gonna happen again? It's just I don't know, it's, like, so easy to let the anxiety take over, but in a way, I'm like, I need my anxiety because
Mhm.
it has helped me, I mean, I'm coping with it, and I mean, now I have different anxieties now that Zoe's on Earth, but it's so tough, especially when you are so aware, like, when we're in the loss community, you're so aware of everything bad that can happen, and I'm so supportive of every lost mom, like, I wouldn't even say their stories, like, are traumatizing, because it's like my story is traumatizing, but
Mhm.
it definitely educates you and shows you of all the scary things that can happen, and that adds to the anxiety too, but it's just you're more aware.
Yeah. And I think the awareness piece is so important.
So important.
And for even with my pregnancy with Case, I was like having a lot of discharge, and the reason my cervix softened and my water broke is I had bacterial vaginosis. And the whole time I'm like, "Oh, this is normal during pregnancy, like blah blah blah." And like hindsight, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I should have went in." But I never wanted to be like dramatic or anything like that. And even my OB was like, once I hit, I think it was maybe the 23-week mark when I was viable.
Mhm,
He was like, literally anything come into the unit. Like, something is nothing when it comes to you. Nothing is a something,
mhm,
right? Like,
yep,
we need to cross our T's, dot our I's, do everything that we possibly can. And ultimately, yeah, unfortunate circumstances happen where it's not at the hands of a provider. But if we can control that aspect and know for sure it wasn't something that we missed or things like that. And like all of these cord stories I'm coming across, like it is 2025. Why are we not scanning the cord during our
I don't
ultrasound?
understand. I'm like, "You guys can see everything. You can see the brain and everything. Why can't you see
Like
the
a
cord?" I
quick
don't get it.
sweep of the abdomen.
Come
I'm
on.
like, I'm not an ultrasound tech. Maybe I'm just like blissfully being like, yeah, you can see absolutely everything. But like, seriously though, like,
Well, you can test for everything, genetic,
yes,
but it's like, really, you can't tell the cord. I don't get it,
no. I'm like, you would be able to see like a big knot in the cord, or you would be able to see an excess
right?
piece of something around a neck. I don't know. We need to do better if we
We need
can
to
do
do better,
better.
and that's the thing, it's like, there are some circumstances where it is out of the provider's control, but if providers can help, like, we need to do better, like, there needs to be more care, and it's kind of not fair that first-time moms are just low risk until, like,
Mhm.
a test comes back bad or something, like, we don't know what we're doing, I've never given birth before, like, I wouldn't it's I don't know. I'm like, I feel like every first time mom should almost be high risk no matter what because it's like you don't know anything.
Yeah. Well, that's just it, right? And unless we're doing these excess scans and deeper scans and things like that, yeah, things are going to get messed. And especially when it's cord incidents and things like that, or not even just cord incidents, because I mean, well, I think a baby's cord can go around their neck at like any point, but especially when they're just little and they're dancing around so much and they're dancing with their cord, and like those are the types of things I believe that we should be able to
Mhm.
like find and come across, and then, alter our plan of care that way. And I think I totally understand that providers and things are human beings. They're overworked, they're exhausted, and they see so much. And I think sometimes we almost turn a shoulder to people's concerns because we're like, "Ugh, I've heard it before. It's all good." But until it's not all good.
Mhm.
And then
Exactly.
where do we draw that line of like, who do we pay extra attention to
Mhm.
versus who do we just brush off? Like, yes, I think lost moms definitely need extra, extra care.
Mhm. Yes.
But let's give the extra care to even just these moms that deserve
Mhm.
to ensure that their baby's okay.
Mhm.
and
Exactly.
know that their anxieties are no, you're good.
Where did that go? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Can you edit that out?
Yeah.
Let me just turn it off. I'm so sorry.
Sounds
Oh
good.
my
No, you're good, girl.
why? Sorry, it's my driveway alarm for the
Mm,
other side of
no,
the farm.
you're all good. You
Gosh.
can totally tell you're a social media girl. Can you edit that out?
Can you edit that out?
First thing you was like, before you're like, oh, why is that going off? Can you edit that?
Of course you can. You're probably
I'm
like,
obsessed with that.
oh my
Oh
god,
yeah, we
you're
can
not.
edit anything.
Thank God.
Oh my gosh. How have you found like your anxieties and things like that with Zoe being a living child? Like for me personally, I am so scared that something's gonna happen to my living children now. Like
So
so scared.
I'm so scared. I mean, we have the owlet sock. I don't know if you've
Yep.
used that, but
Yep.
that's like the only way I can sleep. Truly. I am
Hmm.
so terrified. I'm really afraid of her like sleeping so long and then like not waking up. I'm just like so terrified, you know? Um and I haven't really let anyone watch her. I mean, she's only 3 months old.
Hmm.
Um my husband obviously watches her and like my mom and like my in-laws will watch her, but I have no desire to like leave her for long periods of time, and I don't know if that'll ever go away, and I just don't feel like I need to. Um,
Hmm. Not at all.
you know, but
Yep.
I don't know. I have like just some I just don't want anything bad to happen to her. I'm always like she's getting these like little, the baby little pimples,
Hmm.
and I'm always like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Is she okay?" So you're just when I go to the pediatrician with her, he probably thinks I'm crazy because I'm like, "She did this and like she did this. Like, is that okay?" And he's like, "She's literally perfectly healthy, Tiffany. She's perfect." I'm like,
I needed you to tell me that though.
I'm like, "Thank you. I just need to be reassured, okay?"
I'm the same way. Like with my first, I was so like nonchalant, whatever, did my thing. And now with Case, yeah, I'm literally obsessed with him. I cannot be away from him. My podcast room is like downstairs. And my husband's like, we should like get you a little studio outside the house. I'm like, what do you mean I have to leave the house?
What do you
No thanks. Like I like it when my babysitter comes and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go down 20 stairs to my basement
Yes.
and then I'll be right back. But
Yes.
like I can hear if he's crying. Like I'm like, okay, why is he still crying? Are you holding him right? Like I'm so helicoptery now. And
Mhm.
even like the way he likes to be held. I know exactly when he's going to go to sleep, how long he's going to eat for. Like, I am just so much more aware. And
Yes.
I laughed so hard at your Instagram story this morning when you're like, I got ready to go out of the house and then I didn't. Am I mentally okay? I'm like, girl, I feel that. I'm like, I don't want to leave my baby.
Leave.
No. Everyone's
Everyone's
like,
like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "Yes, I
maybe
just need
crazy
to
in
like."
love with my baby.
I know, and I told her, I was like, "Look, tomorrow the 3 of us are going out because I haven't been able to take her out by myself yet. That's just something that I don't know, I'm, like, too scared to for some reason.
Yeah.
Also, like, everything's so far, like, everything is, like, a 45-minute to an hour drive.
Oh,
I'm
fair
like,
enough. Yeah.
so I'm like, "That's like a road trip." How am I
Yeah.
supposed to keep an eye on her, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm like, "Tomorrow, Joey, you're taking us out. The girls, we're going out. I will sit in the back seat with her like I always do, and
Yeah.
just stare at her while you drive us to go shopping." And he's
And,
like,
like, those things are totally good. Like, I
"Okay."
would rather you go the extra mile to even it's really just for us. Like, the babies don't know. They're just like,
Exactly,
"Mom, I'm just chilling. Like, could you stop
exactly.
staring at me?"
I know. He was like, "Should we take her to a museum?" I'm like, "Joey, she just wants to look at us. We might as well go places we wanna go until she tells us where she wants to go."
Should we take her to a museum?
I'm like, "She's literally 3 months old. She can finally see us. Like, we're gonna go to a winery, okay?"
She's educated as hell, okay?
So funny.
I'm obsessed with that. Oh my god. Um, and do you find like okay, so I seen that you did the barn for her, Bella's barn. Did you find like your animals were so intuitive to you when you lost her?
I do. I think that when I first lost Bella, all I did was go sit with all the pigs and all the animals, and they were all so sweet. I even made jokes. I'm like, the one, like, goat, Martha, that usually would, like, try to eat my clothing or, like, buck me, like, she was, like, so nice to me, and I'm like, "Why are you so nice to me?"
First of all, is your goat's name Martha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martha May. She's crazy.
I love her for her name, and I don't
I
even know
have the
her.
funniest names. I also have a Cora, speaking of Cora.
Oh, cute.
I have a Cora sheep. I have, like, Maybelle the pig, which Bella's name was kind of, like, based off of Maybelle the pig. But,
Oh.
yeah, they're all super sweet. I swear, I told my husband, I'm like, "If we didn't have the animals and, like, or anything else, like, I don't know what I would do with myself." Like,
Mhm.
I felt like I had no purpose after losing Bella. Like, I wanted to take care of something that I was like, every morning I was like, "I need to go and, like, take care of the animals." Like, I need someone to need me and depend on me. So, it was very healing, and I don't know if I would have survived, the 5 months before getting pregnant with Zoe without the animals.
Mhm. So funny how we cling on to these things that it's like, yeah, you had your animals before and you love them and that was your thing.
Mm,
And then it's like after it just becomes so much more special and
yes.
important. And, whatever you need to cling on to not get through your grief, but,
Mhm.
tread through it. I never like to say get through
Exactly.
because I don't believe it'll ever be gone. It
No.
gets easier, maybe you
Mhm.
learn to adapt, but oh, I'm so grateful you have all those animals. They're so special.
I know, you should come visit. You're probably not that far from me if you're in
No,
Canada.
and that's it. I'm coming.
I mean, we're, like, 3 hours from the border, apparently. I'm
Done.
like I'm like, "Should we go there to go on vacation?" Like, Canada sounds pretty nice.
It's pretty nice. Fucking cold right now though, so don't
Oh,
come, but like
yeah,
in the
it's cold as
summer, come.
yes. We actually went there for our honeymoon. We went to Niagara on the Lake for our honeymoon.
Oh,
So
nice.
pretty.
Yeah, never been, but we're like closer to like the mountains and Banff and that
Nice.
kind of thing in BC.
Cool.
But we need to travel more in our own country.
Yes.
We never do. I'm always like, if I'm gonna get on a plane, I'm going somewhere like
I know. Why are we like
cool.
that? I know.
I don't know. Like, we bought a trailer last summer, so we're gonna use it this summer, but
Fun.
whatever. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, speaking of the grief, so obviously you're very open about your grief and that kind of thing on your socials, but what is like how do you get through your grief?
Gosh, I wish I knew. Um, I I feel like I'm very open about it.
Mhm.
Like, I talk about it a lot. I'm such a sensitive person, and I feel like I was more sensitive before losing Bella. Like, I would go outside and feed the animals and just, like, cry because I love them so much.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my husband, like, anytime an animal passes away, usually from, like, old age or if they get sick or something, like, I take it so bad, like, it would ruin my week, and I would be so devastated. And then losing Bella, I felt like that all the time, and I was, like, afraid. So, I found a lot of new hobbies, like, I started making candles and now I, like, cook a lot, and I never used to ever, like, cook, but I
Mhm.
feel like finding other things to, like, make your brain busy, but also, like, I feel every emotion so strongly. Like, even yesterday, I was just having, like, a major brain fart day, and I texted my husband, he was outside taking care of the animals, and I was like, "Tomorrow, like, can the 4 of us just go do something?" And he was like, "The 4 of us?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I meant, like, me, you, and Zoe." And he was like, "No, no, no, you mean Bella." And I'm just like, "You're right." So, I feel like in the back of my head, I think of Bella all the time, but then I am so distracted that not that I'm not thinking about her, but it just feels like second nature that, like, she should be here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then when I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my baby actually died," like, I feel like sometimes I don't know about you, like, sometimes I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, I do live a very traumatic life. Like, I can't believe my baby died." And then it's like, I feel the emotions, like, extra, extra strong.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to feel feelings, and I feel like a lot of people, like, especially, like, years ago, like, it was shameful to, like, feel your emotions or be sad about a baby, and now because of social media, people are sharing their stories, and it's okay to be sad, and
Mhm.
it's okay to have a bad day, it's okay to cancel on people, it's okay to not respond to people's calls or texts. Like, I've realized that my mental health is so important. So if that means like not responding to a message or not going on social media for a couple days, like it's okay, you
Mhm. It totally is. You have to do whatever you can to protect your heart.
know?
That is so sweet that you're just automatically like the four of us. Like
I know.
they
I was like,
are such a huge part of our lives still, and they should be here. And so it's like I love that just like gave me full body goosebumps. And the
I,
fact that your husband was like, "You mean Bella?" Like that is like totally a normal thing. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
of course you mean the four of us.
I know. I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. I'm
It's
like,
so sad, but like so special at the
so
same
special.
time.
I'm like, she's always with us, even if it's like not like what I'm talking about in that moment, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I still think that I mean, she should be here, you know?
Yeah. It's so crazy to me, like, we we chase joy and we're living very joyous lives with our living children and things like that, and you go through life and you're laughing in moments, but it's like that's like the front of your head, and then the back of your head, you're just sad all the time, and you're like,
Yes.
"Oh," or like you're talking about one thing, but then it's like, "Oh, they're in the back of your head." It's such a
Yes.
like a weird like I'm always sad. Like I'm
It
just
sucks.
sad, but I'm laughing. Like
I
it's
know.
so hard to, like, make sense of it, and I was always a very happy-go-lucky
Mhm.
person before, and I'm just like, "I'm just sad."
I'm just a sad person. Yeah, I remember my
Yes.
husband and I went, with family over the summer to go, like, swim in this lake, and we were having, like, so much fun, and we got back in the truck, and my husband and I were just, like, quiet in the truck, and we, like, look at each other, and we're like, "Why are we so sad right now?" It's
Yeah.
when you're with your own thoughts and you're not distracted, and then you're, like, reminded, like, "Oh my god, we should have, like, a baby in the back seat." Like, what the
Mhm.
hell? Like, and I think that's also part of it. I like you, like, I was the life of the party, like, such a happy person. I still am. Like, I love to have a good time, and I love to hang out with my friends and my family, but then there's this part of me that I'm like, yeah, I can laugh and stuff, but I'm also very sad. But you
Mhm.
learn to be kind of okay with the sadness, and maybe that's why dark humor is a thing.
I survive on it.
Yeah. I know my mom
Like
is, like, horrified sometimes with the things I say. "It's not." I'm like, "Mom, I don't know what you want me to say." Like,
yeah, I am who I am. Sorry.
"Sorry."
Not sorry, though. Like, literally whatever you have to do to get through it.
Yes.
How did and how does your husband, like, process all of this? Like, is he open about talking about it?
Yeah, so, he definitely was, I feel like more quiet than I was, and I also felt kind of bad in the beginning too because I feel like everyone was checking in on me and worried about me, but not worried about my husband. I don't know if you felt the same way. I just felt like
Mhm.
he kinda got, like, shoved to the side and was like, he's just here to take care of me and, like, he's gonna be fine, but he still is really sad. He has so many tattoos. In honor of Bella, he got her face tattooed on his chest
I
for her
seen that.
birthday.
That is
So that was, like, a
gorgeous.
way that he coped. So beautiful. I'm like, "Thank God it came out good, Joey. That's pretty permanent." I'm like, I was worried. I was like, "Oh my god, they can't screw this up." Like, so important. They did a great job. But he also we're part of a, pregnancy and infant loss support group. I joined their, like, Zooms, like, every month. They have, like, a pregnancy after loss one. They have, a parenting after loss group. They're amazing. They're local to, like, Vermont and New York. But my husband just recently started the dads group, with another, dad in the group. So his first group was on Tuesday, which I'm so proud of him because he even said to me, he was like, "I wanna talk about it more, and I know you talk about it all the time, and you're good at talking about it, but that's only because I practice talking about it and I share about it all the time." He doesn't talk about it all the time. Who's he gonna
Mhm.
talk to? Like, he's not really on social media. Um, so being a part of the dads group, he's like, "This is, like, great. It gives me my time to, like, be with Bella, but it's also, like, really sad, and it brings up a lot of, like, trauma and sadness, but also afterwards, he's like, "I feel really good that I was able to, like, talk about Bella, and, like, this is my time to be with Bella," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So I think it's taken him some time, but I'm really proud of him for doing this step because it's like his own time and it's not my time is social media. Like I love talking about it and that's like how I heal and how I cope. For him, I think it's like meeting other dads and talking to this group and realizing that they're not alone and it's
Mhm.
also okay for dads to be sad. Like, they wanted this baby too, and they are equally as devastated. So we don't have to sugarcoat it for them because they're feeling it too, you know?
Yeah. I was so proud of him when I seen that you shared that, because my husband does not talk about it. Like,
Mhm,
he's like that in everything in life though, and I think
mhm,
it stems from kind of how he was raised, that you keep going. And
mhm,
that is one thing that we grieved and we processed very differently.
mhm,
And so when I seen that, I'm like, that is so special. And I think as lost moms, and women naturally talk about things more,
mhm,
but we've really clung on to those relationships. And I think that it helps tremendously.
mhm.
But yeah, for like my husband to go hang out with his group of friends and want to talk about his
Mhm.
son in heaven, like, it's just not something he's
No.
comfortable doing,
Mhm.
nor would those men probably know how to respond, you
Exactly.
know? And so to find that, we talk about community of lost moms, the community of lost dads, like, we cannot forget about them, but we
Mhm.
do. You are so right.
You know, it's like I feel like they're always swept under the rug, and
Yeah.
and I almost feel like sometimes I'm like, my husband had a really hard time too because he didn't really show me he was sad. I remember I would like see him coming in from chores like crying, and I'm like, you don't have to hide you don't have to
Mhm.
hide being sad around me because it's going to make me sad because like, which I
Yeah.
feel like you said earlier, like I feel like family would like cry like not next to me because they would not want to get me more upset. But I mean, everyone is sad and it's okay to be upset, but yeah, there is a stigma that like men can't cry and like dads can't be sad, but you know, and there's like other things that like trigger him that trigger me. And he got the girls like roses for Valentine's Day, and I'm so glad he thought of Bella. I was like kind of nervous. I was like, if you don't bring Bella a rose too, like you're done, you know? I like would think in my head, but of course,
I was thinking in my head.
I'm so bad. But
Thank God he got the rose, okay?
that's all I gotta say. I'm like, thank God. I'm like, because I always make it so known. I'm like, I don't want anyone to forget about Bella. Like, I want
Yeah.
her to be treated like she would be here, you know? Like, she deserves to be honored, even if it's just a little rose. But he told me, he was like, I was driving home and like with the two roses, he was like, I was definitely crying. And I'm like, oh my God. So there's like little things that, you know, m- make him sad and make me sad, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you and your husband are like this too, but, like, I'll have, like, a really good day where, like, someone could be crying in front of me, and I'm like, "I literally can't cry."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Am I a horrible person?" But then, we're, like, on the opposites all the time, which I feel like is good because if we were both sad at the same time, it would probably be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta, like, take turns, and
Yeah.
then one thing that we've really struggled with too is, like, I was obviously always very, very sad, and not always in convenient times.
Always.
And when we were doing our marriage prep and stuff, like, our pastor was like, "You need to learn in those moments to stop, and you just have to be ready to support your person. She can't just be sad when it works for you."
Yep.
And so that was something we really had to learn too, but also my husband wasn't raised in a home where you really cry. And so if
Mhm.
I'm crying, he's like, "Oh, fuck, I gotta move.
Yes.
Ah, the snow needs to be shoveled."
Yeah, literally.
It's like he beelines it the other way, and I'm like, "Why do you do that?" But he was like, "I literally, like, don't know
Mhm.
how to support."
Yep.
And then it's frustrating for me because 'cause I'm like, "Well, I'm the one that's sad. Why do I need to teach you to how to support me while I'm sad?"
Mhm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just and but it's like we've been through sad things in life, and people get sad, you have bad days, but when it's the loss of something so significant and
Mhm.
so tragic, we are all learning what that sadness is like, and it's not like any other sadness.
No.
It's its own thing, and so we're learning it, our partners are learning it, family, friends, it's this, again, a domino effect,
Mhm.
and it can hit you like it's not a scheduled time, like,
Oh,
"Okay, I'm
yeah.
gonna feel grief from 2 to 3 today."
Yes.
It's like, it's just all of a sudden, you could be in the grocery store in Walmart walking by the diaper aisle, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I should be buying diapers,"
Mhm.
and you're
Yes,
like,
literally.
"Okay."
And I feel like I had so much, like I was really sad, but I also feel like I was more angry after Bella died, like,
Yeah.
I would, like, cause scenes, like, I'm like, "Someone needs to, like, contain me." Like, like, went out with my sister-in-law and my husband, and, like, that night, I was, like, freaking out, like, having mental breakdown. I was like, "I just want my baby." Like, I was screaming, and I, like, threw a sandwich, like, in the back of the
Mm.
Uber and, like, trashed the Uber. I'm like, "This is, like I'm not okay. I should not be in public."
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I had a lot of anger, I think, that was, like, over the sadness, and then I feel like the sadness would just, like, come after, I
Yeah.
got really upset, but
I'm still very angry to
Mhm.
this day. That is like my core emotion when it comes to all of this is I'm just so angry and I do not know how to forgive and like let that go. Like it feels like a very safe emotion for me.
Mhm.
It's
Same.
like, oh, I can, I have a blame. I can put the blame on someone else. I
Yes.
can be angry at you. I can be angry at the world. And it's
Mhm.
like, but I don't, angry doesn't make me cry, doesn't make me collapse. It doesn't make me do all these
Yep.
things, whereas sadness does. And
Yes.
quite frankly, I have 2 kids. I don't have time to collapse.
Exactly. Like, the anger almost felt like I'm controlling my emotions in a way. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna bawl my eyes out or, like, because 'cause I'm just, like, I'm pissed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, truly. Like, it
Mhm.
just for many different reasons, right? And
Mhm.
some anger can feel like a very unsafe emotion for a lot of people and a very safe emotion for the next. So,
Mhm.
accepting that sometimes I feel broken because I don't cry
Yes.
as often as what I thought a normal
Mhm.
grieving person would cry.
Yes.
But my situation also wasn't normal of like
Yes.
I had other like I had a living child that I had to get
Mhm.
out of bed for and do the things and
Mhm.
like I just I never wanted to accept that he
Mhm.
was gone and that he's never coming home, and I haven't accepted it. I don't want to.
No, I don't want to.
I'm longing for something that my mind knows, but
Mhm.
my heart, no, thank you.
No, I mean, we're not meant to. It's like it's
No,
a natural thing that our babies died. It's not our brain is not it's, like, not normal.
no. I remember looking at Case last night, and I'm just like, okay, I sat in my rocking chair for so long, wishing and praying for another baby. Didn't know who you'd be, who you'd look like, this, that, and the other thing. Now you're here. I know you. It's like you've always been here. And then
Mhm.
I'll look at a picture of Kate. I'm like, but what would you have been like right now?
Mhm.
Like I
Yes.
see you in this picture of
Mhm.
how I knew you,
Mhm.
but like what would 2.5-year-old Kate look like,
Yes.
act like?
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah. I
you
feel
know
like
this human, but you
yes,
don't know them.
you don't know them. I know, it's like I see that now too. I feel like all I see now are, like, moms with, like, 2 daughters that are, like, really close in age, and I'm like that is, like, my recent thing that I'm like, I literally and I feel like I see it everywhere. I'm like, "How come every store I go into, there's, like, a 1.5-year-old and, like, a newborn? Like, why?"
Mhm.
And I'm like, I will never, like, get to experience what that sisterhood would have been like between Bella and Zoe. Like, me and my sister, we are so close, and I'm like, Zoe should have a big sister on earth that, like, is teaching her things and, like, carrying her around.
Mhm.
And for me, like, that is something that's, like, stuck in my brain. Like, I can't get that out of my head.
Yeah, it's always just longing for what should be
Mhm.
and what is very obviously not
Mhm.
right now and
Yes.
never will be, unfortunately.
Mhm.
It's a tug of war game that I
Yeah, it's
play
not fun.
every single day. It's
Yeah.
like there's always just this piece missing no matter what you're doing in life. You're like,
Mhm.
"But it shouldn't be like this."
Yes.
People are like, "Well,
Exactly.
but it is." I'm like, "Yeah, but it shouldn't be,
Mhm.
and it's not okay that it's not."
Exactly, and it's, like, realizing that, like, our family will never feel whole, like, no matter
No.
how many kids we have or even bringing Zoe home, like, I guess I wasn't sure how I would feel, like and I feel like a lot of people think and thought that, "Oh, like, she's pregnant with another girl and, this is her girl, like, she'll be fine and, they'll be happy again." It's like, it's not a fix, like,
No.
Zoe really does not replace Bella, and I don't know if people really understand that, especially, like, family members, like, I don't think they do. I think that they think that Zoe's here on earth, I'm fine and I'll be good. And I
Mhm.
will say I'm so much better. I feel so much joy and I have like a will to live and
Yeah.
feel I feel happy, but like there's still a huge part of our family missing. And
Yeah.
it sucks that nothing is going to fix that.
Yeah. I wish so badly I could turn back a clock and just
Mhm.
change the story and change the outcome, right?
Mhm.
How did you feel when you found out you were having another girl?
I was excited because I guess I just always pictured myself as like a girl mom because I envisioned this life with Bella, you know? I I like almost made myself feel like I was meant to have girls, you know? And having everything for Bella, all this girl stuff and everything like that was I was excited, but then there was a part where I was like, "All right, now I really feel like people are thinking that this is a replacement, and what would people think that if I had a son? Like, would people really be able to differentiate?" You know what I mean? I don't know if
Mhm.
that makes sense, but
No, it does.
I also feel like now, which I kind of like, which I wasn't sure I would feel, but some people will accidentally call Zoe Bella, which I kind of love. Like my in-laws will do it and like my mom will do it sometimes. And part of me is like, I love that because if Bella was alive, that would be really cute and like just what we would do by accident because it's like what
Yeah.
my mom always calls me like the dog's name. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that is something that I wasn't sure how I would feel, but I really like that because it also shows that they're like thinking of Bella. But I don't know. And it's also hard because I see a lot of similarities in the two of them, but I also see a lot of differences. And I've had a lot of people comment on like social media being like, "Do you think that, this is Bella coming back in Zoe's body?" And I'm like, "No." Like, guy, it's like you wouldn't say that if Bella died when she was like, older, you know what I mean? You would never think that. But that is something that I struggle with, but I just know that they're two different people. Like they look so different, but also so similar at the same way, which is sweet, you know?
Yeah. And, like, n 2 living siblings
Mhm.
look alike, you know, and
Exactly.
it's like they're still siblings. It was
Exactly.
still this baby, and I think it's a hard thing for people to wrap their head around if
Mhm.
they've never met the baby, they've never seen the baby physically. Yeah, you can see
Yes.
pictures of something, but if you've never
Mhm.
actually been there, then it's hard to
Mhm.
really, like, take in the weight of what is happening,
Mhm.
and we do we are like, "Okay, well, they lost, now they have one, so it, like, kinda evens out." It's like,
Mhm.
"No,
No,
no."
no.
It makes it, yeah, a little bit easier because now, like you said, will to live, joy,
Mhm.
happiness, like,
Mhm.
you're getting to raise this little
Mhm.
human, but not the way that you dreamed you would have
Exactly.
been raising
Mhm.
these little lives, right?
Yeah.
It's so heavy on my heart.
It's so hard. It's like there's just no way to be like you'll never be okay with it because it's not
No.
okay. It's like you really just learn to live with what happened and it's awful, but it's so interesting. I was like thinking of, I was looking at videos that I made like a year ago, and like how different of a space I was in. And like you said, like I don't even remember doing these posts on TikTok. Like, first of all, someone just took my phone away. Okay. Definitely take my phone away. But it's just interesting to see like how much I've changed and I didn't think I would ever be happy again, and
Mhm.
Zoe has brought me so much joy, but like you said, it's, there's a huge hole in our family missing. And the best way that I can honor Bella and keep her included in our family is sharing her story and including her every single day. I mean, if someone sends me a card and they don't have Bella's name, if they don't write Bella's name in it, I'm like, I'm throwing them, I'm not talking anymore,
Triggered. Yeah.
So yeah, it's,
Again, it's like those things that might feel silly to someone else,
mhm,
but, like, mean the absolute world to you. Like,
mhm.
even I remember this past Christmas, like, people would be texting "Merry Christmas" to you, Paul, Jayla, Cade, Case, like,
Oh,
everybody, or
nice.
it's like, "Oh, thank you." And
It's the best.
if you haven't lost, it is a learned behavior to
Yes.
do those things. So
Mhm.
it's like if you're taking the time to pause and be like, "Okay, and Cade," like, it I'm sure it's not a totally comfortable thing for people to do. If they're
Mhm.
like, "Do they want that?" Yes, we want
Yes, we want
it.
no, it's like, we don't need the whole 5-paragraph essay about how, like, God needed this baby more than us.
Mm,
Just say you're sorry and just include
mhm.
me in everything.
Yes.
It's not that
I
complicated.
beg you. It's not. And I always say too, I'm like, even as a lost mom, I don't know the right word to say, like the right thing to say to someone. And I
Mhm.
never want people to like lose sleep over trying to figure out the
Yeah.
right thing. Like, don't try and take the grief away. Don't try and like just acknowledge it.
Mhm. You're not gonna
Acknowledge that
get
it's
there.
hard.
Mhm.
Acknowledge that it's sad.
I mean, yeah, exactly, like, sometimes I even struggle on what to say to
Hmm.
another lost mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what makes them, how they want, and then I just remind myself, like, just keep it simple, like, include their
Yeah.
baby's name and, say you're sorry. There's
Hmm.
really no other way to you're not gonna fix it.
No. Another thing that drives me crazy too is when people are like, "He was so handsome." I'm like, "No, he is so
Is.
handsome.
Oh my gosh, I
Is.
know.
Is."
Is. I know.
Not
Here's
was.
the thing,
We're not talking about a was.
we should write, like, a list, do's and
We
don'ts
really
of
should.
things to say to a lost mom. So
Included in the show
fun.
notes. Like, link to this. Like, it's so true. And everybody processes so different, like we talked about, and
Mhm,
wants different things and relates to different things. And a lot of the time, what comes up, yeah, is like the religion piece versus not. And
mhm,
like, my thing is, I would never change myself to adapt to someone else. And
mhm,
so I'm not going to do that in the lost community either. I'm going to show up how I show up and like receive it however.
mhm,
I'm always coming from a good place, a gentle place, the simplicity, the love, and but I'm not going to always tailor it, like
mhm,
I'm going to show up in what helped me or whatever and be like no pressure, but if this is what feels right in my heart, and hopefully if it doesn't resonate with you right now,
mhm.
then maybe down the road you'll reflect back. Like we're
Yes,
always, oh, at one time she said this to me, like, oh, okay, so now I'm able to receive that.
yes, exactly. It
Like,
really does depend on, like, where you are in your
yeah.
grief and in your loss, like, how things affect you. Because I feel like in the beginning, like, whenever people would be like, "Everything happens for a reason," I wasn't like I think I was too, like, numb inside to even, like, care that they
Mhm.
said those things, but now I'm like, "Alright, you say that to me, like, do not, like, no way."
No,
You know what I mean?
I'm immediately angry.
I'm really mad at you, okay?
Like, okay, if you're gonna say that, tell me the reason.
Yeah, exactly, what's the reason?
Like, follow it up then. Come
Mhm,
on, where's the proof?
exactly. Oh my
And
god,
then even that won't be good enough, so
yeah, just zip it.
maybe, like, don't.
Oh,
What would be your, like, biggest piece of advice for a mom who is, like, in the thick of loss, in the thick of grief, in whatever kinda sticks out to your mind? What would you tell her heart?
I would tell her to just take it day by day, do everything you can to just survive every day. Don't think like a month from now, don't think like that. Think, all right,
Mhm,
what do I have to do every single day to get through? And just be gentle with yourself. If you want to lay in bed all day, I think that's totally okay. But I also feel like, after a certain point, after I lost Bella, I would like get up every morning and just like brush my hair or like take a shower or do
mhm,
something for yourself where you feel a little better about yourself. And that was huge for me. Like, I swear a hot shower is like a game changer. And also connect with other lost moms because they have saved my life. Because
mhm.
when I lost Bella, I truly thought I was like the only person in the world that this happened to. And I remember my hospital gave me a pamphlet of like, I swear it was like social media lost moms, which I was really happy that they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Kate, Noah's mom, was on there. I
Mhm,
followed her. Some other I think, like, Rush's Rainbows was on there,
mhm.
and I was like, "Wow, there's, like, actually a community out there where other people have gone through this, and, like, I'm not the only person," and feeling like you're not alone is huge, and knowing that these thoughts that you think are crazy or you're the only one thinking these thoughts, like, you're not alone. Like,
No.
chances are a lot of other lost moms literally think the exact same way, and that will save your life. So,
And a community too that has no judgment, has no expectations, and no like the expectations almost killed me after I lost him of like
yeah.
people not everybody, but expecting me just to be the same Lex that I was before, and
Yes.
just fulfill these expectations that
Mm.
were not appropriate.
No, highly
And
inappropriate.
yes, and it does take, like, yeah, this community is so special. And I've been pretty quiet on TikTok because I didn't really know how to show up anymore. And
Mhm,
I think that that's when this was born, is
mhm,
like, I need to use my voice and I need to actually talk to people.
mhm,
I love commenting on videos and liking, and like, I'm totally supporting you from like whatever, but just really make those connections and like hold space, because like you said, there's a lot of people out there, keyboard warriors, that sit behind and feel like they would have known better than you, or what you're doing is wrong. And just to have someone to relate to be like, there is no right or wrong.
mhm.
And like, screw people who think that they could have done it better or different. And
Honestly.
like, if you don't know what we're going through, thank goodness.
Mhm. Like, you are
Like,
so lucky, like,
yes.
you
And
know?
like, what happened? Didn't your mama teach you like, nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. People on social media can be very brutal. That's
I
why I also
know.
don't think like, I understand people not wanting to share their story on there because people can
Yes.
be so brutal. Um, which I still like, comments still get to me and, like,
Mhm.
they will ruin my day. I'm like, "Please be kind, okay?" I'm very
Yes.
sensitive, so I don't blame people for not wanting to share their story, but even just, like, DMing, anyone could ever DM me, I always try to respond to my DMs, especially on Instagram. TikTok makes it a little difficult, I feel like, for
Mhm.
DMs, but I'm always happy to talk to anyone that needs to because you're not alone in this, and you
Yeah.
don't have to feel alone.
It's like bridging that gap of isolation, right? And
Yes.
I remember when I initially started sharing, somebody had commented one day, they're like, sorry for your loss, but please don't post this again because now I'm sad. I'm like, oh, you're sad.
You're sad,
Oh,
how do you think I feel?
oh shit.
I hate those, it's like, "Oh my gosh,
Like,
just
okay.
block me." Like, I don't know what to do.
Exactly. I'm like, do not. Like, no.
No,
Your
and, like, you
5 minutes of
commenting
sadness
and making
doesn't
me feel
compare.
no.
Yes, like, enough.
People are so I can't.
No. So this is your sign. Whoops. If you think that you need to comment, don't.
Don't comment.
Simple as that.
It's so easy, you know?
Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. I just love this so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and thank you for everything that you do and,
Of course.
for spreading awareness. It's so important, and I'm just so honored to be on here.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Please take a moment and on whatever app you're listening to us on, press that follow button to stay up to date with all future episodes. If you or someone you know are interested in being a guest on the Beyond the Birth Story podcast or a sponsor, please visit our Instagram or Facebook at Beyond the Birth Story podcast and send a message or fill out that contact form. I would love to connect with you. As always, remember to be gentle, kind, and hold space for yourself when you need it.